so it's a common thing that I get from people. So I'd love to just talk about how can you simplify, right? How can we make it easy? So I'm trained in functional nutrition, and then I also did like a specialty focus in the gut and GI mapping and how to help people heal the gut. So I'll talk a little bit about that. But basically, this is a lot of us, right? I think a lot of people are just trying to get through the day and how we feel. And as I work with people, it's a really common thing. So if you're done with that, if you're ready to make changes, if it's a priority, there is not an easy fix, you guys. There's not a magic pill. There's not anything. And so if you're not willing to put in the work, you're probably not in the right place. I'm so sorry. But if you do want to feel better, if you feel like taking a pill is the right solution, probably not the right presentation for you, just so you know. So, okay, I want to start with this though, because I love this analogy. So imagine that you got a car when you turned 16. It could be any car you want. The only catch is it has to be your car for your entire life. You cannot replace it, you cannot get a new one. This is the only car you get, okay? What car would you get?
Toyota.
Yes, something super reliable, right? Okay. And then what kind of, how would you drive it, right? How would you take care of it? If you knew, like, I don't get another vehicle, this has to last my whole life. How would you maintain it? Would you keep up on all your, the oil change, the filter changes, right? What kind of fuel would you put in? Would you do the very lowest quality or the highest quality premium fuel, right? What if your check engine light came on? What are you gonna do?
Take it in the shop.
Yeah, you're not gonna ignore it, right? Okay, so we all have one vehicle, and how we treat it matters. It's your body, and it's the only one you get for life, okay? The fuel you put in your body matters. The warning signals that you get, you need to pay attention to those. If you're getting headaches, your body's trying to tell you something. If your stomach's hurting, your body's trying to tell you something. I love this quote by Dr. Bob Rako. The heart attack at 50 began at 20. The Alzheimer's at 70 started at 40. The loss of independence at 80 began at 30. The aging you want tomorrow begins with the choices you make today. This is so true. Anybody want to guess how many people in America, how many years they live on average where they can't perform daily functions by themselves? Like going to the bathroom or like, all those things.
3.
Okay, you're really close. It's about 12 years. The average American, and that's a horrible statistic compared to a lot of other countries, okay? So we want to talk about how can we change that? Because guess what? That's not a guaranteed part of the aging process. It's actually because of our lifestyle and our choices of how we take care of our bodies that leads to all of those issues. It is something that is completely in our control. Even hereditary things. They say hereditary loads the gun, lifestyle pulls the trigger. You can be genetically predisposed to things and have things in your family history, but your lifestyle is what will turn on those genes. It's an incredible whole area of research is how your genes are expressed, and it's all affected by your diet and your lifestyle. So this is Dr. Casey Means. Anybody familiar with her? She is our new Surgeon General of the U.S. And she wrote this book called Good Energy. She was at the top of her class at Stanford, and she was an ENT. She would do surgeries, and she basically had this patient come to her where she had done surgery on her, and then it was like sometime later, within a year later, she was back to get the same surgery, and she was like, wait a minute, it was kind of a wake-up call to her. Like, am I really helping her? Am I getting at the root? So there was a lot of inflammation this patient had going on, and she asked her, have you ever tried anything with your diet to like reduce inflammation? This woman had been to lots of specialists, lots of doctors, and she said, no, nobody's ever talked to me about what I put in my body. And she was like, oh my goodness. Like, I am not helping this patient. I'm not helping any of the people I'm doing surgery on. So she actually left doing surgery. She left being an ENT to be a functional doctor and help people get at the root of helping their body heal. So she wrote this book, The Good Energy that you saw, and she talks about the medical system and how there are so many problems that we have with it. It's really great if you have acute issues, right? If you break your arm, I'm so grateful for a doctor. If you need a triple bypass, I'm so grateful for a doctor, right? They can deal with immediate problems. But when it comes to prevention, when it comes to wellness and long-term health, our medical system does not have answers. And this is the whole point of her book. So she talks about over-specialization as one of the problems, right? If you go to a guy that focuses on the transmission and you have an issue with your engine, they're not gonna be able to help you very well, right? Like, they're not looking at the whole picture of what's going on. The other issue is an emphasis on prescribing medications. And that's what she talked about. Like, the whole medical model is They spend 5 minutes, 10 minutes with the patient. Their job is to make sure they're not gonna die, prescribe a medication, put in the billing codes and move on, right? That's our model right now. So it's kind of like if you have your check engine light and you just go and you go to the car repair guy and he's like, let me fix that for you. Gets out his hammer and just breaks it. You'd be like, no, that's not okay. But that is basically what a lot of the medications that we take do to our bodies. It just stops the signaling pathway that's letting your body know there's a problem that does nothing to actually address the issue, right? So she talks about these statistics in her book. These are true, real statistics. 74% of people in America are obese or overweight. And it's not because we all are lazy and horrible. It's because we're gonna talk about some of these issues, okay? But our lifestyle is a huge part of it. More than 50% have type 2 diabetes, compared to 1% in 1950, you guys. Isn't that shocking? Crazy, right? What has happened? Heart disease is one of the biggest, almost 800,000 people per year. It's the #1 cause of death, and it's completely preventable. Okay, so also the state of our young people. How many of you under age 30? Got a few younger ones in here. Okay, you guys, you're not accepted from these issues. So cancers have increased 79% in that group. 25% of men under 40 experience EED. 77% cannot serve in the military of our young people. Okay, because of health issues or prescription use of drugs they have to have. 30% are pre-diabetic of teenagers. Okay, and 18% have fatty liver disease. 1 in 36 kids right now is diagnosed with autism, and it's much higher in certain states. And we attribute that likely to toxins or, there's lots of ideas of why there's states that have like 1 in 10, some places are seeing, it's crazy, some areas. So her conclusion from her book was our modern lifestyle basically is disrupting energy production in your cells, causing widespread health problems. It's one of the roots. It's not the only root, but it's one of the biggest root issues is this energy production process that happens inside your cells is disrupted. And here are the things that do it. Well, first of all, what do you guys notice from all these?
Itis.
What does itis mean? Anybody know?
Inflammation.
Inflammation, yes, exactly. So many, she realized like inflammation was also one of the root things. And that's related to that cell energy cycle. So we'll talk about this. Why does your immune system stay so turned on and active? Yeah.
Sorry, what is inflammation?
So inflammation is where, say you sprain your ankle, okay? Your body is gonna cause inflammation to have there to help speed up the healing and help that process. But what happens is, in America, because of our lifestyle, those cells are not working well, the energy is not working well, and that signals to your body there's a problem, and the body thinks it needs to be healed. And so it causes inflammation, and we're getting inflammation. That's one of the causes. So it's like basically where it's like inflamed and acting in a way that you don't want it to have all the time. Does that make sense? Yeah. Good question. So there's another cause, a root cause of inflammation, which we'll talk about as well. But the cell cycle and the cell energy cycle not working well is one of the main ones. So here's what she identifies in her book, the metabolic failure cycle. Okay, why we're so sick, why we're so tired, so heavy. The cell mitochondria is basically what produces energy in your cell and allows your whole body to work at a root level, okay, very simply put. When you are not giving it good things to fuel it, there's low energy in that cell, basically. It can't produce very much energy. And then we get inflammation because the body thinks there's something wrong, so it starts inflaming. That causes pain, okay? And then we have oxidation. Well, the cell starts not working as well and gets damaged, and that causes aging, and this cycle just keeps going round and round, making things worse and worse, basically. So she talks about in her book, what's causing this metabolic failure? What's causing this cell cycle to be so disrupted? These are her 10 things that she talks about in her book are the biggest causes of disrupting your metabolism, basically, and simply put. Chronic overnutrition. That means you're eating lots of food, but you're not getting enough things that are good for you, right? Nutrient deficiencies. Anybody want to guess the number of Americans that have a nutrient deficiency, according to the EPA?
40%.
98%. 98%. Anybody want to guess why? Well, I told you, we're eating lots of junk food. We'll talk about that. We'll go more into that. I'll talk about that in another slide. But microbiome issues is another one I'm going to mention briefly. sedentary lifestyle, chronic stress, medications, drugs. Ibuprofen is one of the biggest causes of, what it does is it destroys your lining in your intestine, and it also really damages your liver. I had a friend, 34 years old, just passed away from, well, actually my friend's sister, from just using regular doses of ibuprofen. It destroyed her liver, 34 years old. Not overdosing. There's like 16,000 deaths every year from normal doses of ibuprofen. Sleep deprivation, toxins, pollutants in our environment, in our cleaning products, in our personal care products, artificial light, which is disrupting our circadian rhythms and how well we sleep, and then thermoneutrality, which means we're not ever exposed to hot and colds anymore, and those actually have benefits and cause good things to happen in our bodies. And we're so comfortable all the time, right? So she talks about this solution of a few things you can do in your lifestyle, okay? Nutrient unprocessed foods, that's huge, huge. Now I will say, when we talk about nutrition, with the training I've had, no amount of good nutrition is going to fix if you have bacterial overgrowth, fungal overgrowth in your gut, which more than 50% of people do. And so nutrition is a big part of the solution, but there are other things you have to do if you have some of these other issues that have likely developed because of your lifestyle. High fiber, fermented foods, okay? And can somebody tell me some foods high in fiber?
Beans.
Hey, beans are a really good one. Broccoli has some. Chia seeds are really good. Avocados are really good. If you have one avocado a day, you're getting 10 plus grams fiber right there.
Fiber bars.
Yeah, depending on what's in it. A lot. This is one thing, you guys, and I'm going to talk about this next, that you've got to be a label reader. I'm shocked. I go to Costco and there's all the health food, and about half of it is junk and actually inflammatory and harmful to your body. Not exaggerating, okay? And then balanced omega-3s. That's another huge one. The omega-3 ratio we're supposed to have is 1 to 1 of 3s to 6s in our bodies. Anybody want to guess what the average ratio in the US is of omega-6s to omega-3s? Omega-6s are very inflammatory. Omega-3s are anti-inflammatory.
Like 20 to 1.
Yes, it's 20 to 1. 20 to 1. We're supposed to have 1 to 1. Anybody know why that is?
Processed foods.
All of the seed oils that we eat. So seed oils are vegetable oil, soybean oil, canola oil, sunflower oil, safflower oil. Those are, if you go eat food somewhere or if you buy processed food at the store, 99% of the time it has seed oils in it. And that is one of the things that is causing type 2 diabetes, we now know from research. It's not just the carbs and the sugar, it's actually the seed oils as well that's oxidizing your cell in a way that it can't take in insulin. Okay, so omega-3s to 6 ratio, right? Movement has a huge effect, right? On our cells, on our gut microbiome, on our heart, so many things, right? Getting enough movement, resistance training is crucial, like non-negotiable. And you don't have to go have a gym membership. You can just take 5 minutes and do push-ups, do knee-ups, do some, bicycles, do a plank, and you're good. And just do that a few times a week, okay? It doesn't have to be complicated. One of the rules I had for myself was, before I get in the shower, that's my reminder of, let me do my few minutes of, I do go to the gym 3 times a week, but that's not required to have like minimum levels of health, right? You can do other things. Walking is huge. And they found, especially if you'll do about 3 minutes of as fast as you can, and then 3 minutes of just a slower walk, and do that for 30 minutes, it's much more effective on your muscles, your heart health, losing weight, and all those things. So just a 30-minute walk, do those 3 minutes as fast as you can, alternating. And then stress management. It's very, very hard for your body to heal, and especially your gut to heal, which is, most people, that's a root issue, if you are stressed, if your body's in fight or flight. And so you have to do things to help manage that stress in a healthy way. Breathing is really helpful, getting enough sleep. There's a lot of other resources that you can do. Okay, so let's talk about simple lifestyle changes, okay? Avoid all processed foods. That might sound overwhelming. It's like, what do I eat, right? Well, you cook up your meat. Your sources of your meats is important. You need to do grass-fed beef. If you're not going to do grass-fed beef, do not eat beef. It's full of chemicals and hormones that cause heart disease, and that will disrupt your hormones in your body. Every single cow in America that is not grass-fed or organic has a hormone pump in his ear that pumps hormones into that, and then when you eat the meat, you get all those hormones in your body. Okay, so you can go without meat and be vegan. I don't recommend that because you get a lot of nutrients from meat. You do need to get grass-fed. Costco has grass-fed patties for $5.50 a pound. Just eat less meat. It's a little bit more expensive, but it's not going to hurt your body. It's going to help your body. So just making some changes like that is really helpful. Avoid sugar and artificial sweeteners. You'll see lots of things that claim and say artificial sweeteners. There's no research. Well, we now have research that shows it disrupts your biofilm, your gut lining, not the biofilm, sorry, your mucus lining. The biofilm is something bad in bacteria. But it will, artificial sweeteners actually are causing more damage in the gut than we understood before. So monk fruit is great, stevia is great, allulose, erythritol, those are all great options. And there's more and more things coming out that have those in it as a sweetener versus sugar, which is super inflammatory in your gut and terrible on your blood sugar. And it might sound overwhelming. I have a yogurt recipe if I'm doing a one-on-one consultation ever that you can just make. It's like having a whole bottle of probiotics a day, but it changes your oxytocin in your brain and it changes your gut environment so you don't create, it's like a natural GLP-1, a natural, Ozempic kind of a thing, but it's healthy from probiotics in yogurt that make it so you don't have the cravings. So there's a lot of things you can do to set yourself up for success. The reality is, because of this problem, most people, their satiety and hunger hormones are totally off, so that's going against them. They have fungal overgrowth in their gut, and so they're getting cravings for sugars. Like, your body, when you have all these problems, just continues to fight against you. And so the key is you gotta get at the root to shift those issues, and we'll talk about a little bit about that. Avoid all seed oils. I cannot emphasize this one enough. Start to be a label reader. So many health food products, it's like natural, healthy. You look on it, the first ingredient is vegetable oil, soybean oil, canola oil. Okay, you don't want to eat, you don't want to put those things in your body. Have as much extra virgin olive oil as you can. You cannot overdo it on extra virgin olive oil. It is heat sensitive, and there's lots of research, and we also know from whole global studies where they've looked at different populations, and populations where they consume, some populations in the Mediterranean consume a cup per day, half cup to a cup of olive oil per day. They don't have heart disease, and they live longer, they're part of the blue zone. There's lots of research to back it up on a, worldwide level as well as on a mechanism level, if you're interested in knowing about that. So,
I have a question.
yes.
But when you heat it up, is that?
Yes, that's what I was going to mention. You don't want to heat extra virgin olive oil. It will oxidize. So it's a good oil for like a salad dressing or drizzling over your eggs after you cook them. But you don't want to be cooking. If you do a very low heat, you could do it. But if you're doing a medium to high heat, I would recommend grass-fed butter or avocado oil or cold-pressed coconut oil are your ones that do well with high heats and aren't going to oxidize. Because again, you don't want to take anything oxidized into your body. That's going to cause more oxidation in your body. So great question. Okay, and then avoid alcohol is another one. Like the research shows every single dose causes damage in your brain. Like one dose causes damage in your brain. So avoid alcohol. So those are lifestyle changes. More than 50% of people in America have what's called SIBO, small intestine bacterial overgrowth. You can go to the doctor and get tested for it. It's usually $200 to $500+ for your test. I do it for $10 for people. I have a device that I can test multiple people on. But if you have any of these symptoms, you almost guaranteed have SIBO. So this is one of the other root issues, that it's this bacterial and fungal overgrowth in the gut that's causing a lot of the other problems, that's causing a lot of the inflammation as well in the body. So, and how did you get there? If you're eating processed foods, it's full of glyphosate. It's the Roundup that they put in grains, they put on all of our food. So the more you're eating processed food, you're getting glyphosate. Ibuprofen, stress, antibiotics. This is a big one I was not aware of earlier on in my health journey, but emulsifiers. So if you're eating peanut butter that's not the natural kind, it doesn't separate, it's totally ruining your mucus lining of your intestine, which is opening your body up to leaky gut, which causes lots of health issues. So medications can cause it, abdominal surgery and hypothyroidism, all are things that we know lead to the development of SIBO. So just to be aware of those things and trying to cut out what you can. Low carb diets, I'm all about limiting processed carbs, but good carbs are great. You don't want to eat a ton to spike your blood sugar, but like a sweet potato or just beans, those are all great sources of carbs that you can have. But if you're trying to heal blood sugar issues, we'll want to tweak things, but you have to keep enough fiber in the diet if you're going to do that. So a lot of people don't do that. If they do a low carb and then they end up ruining their gut health and they develop SIBO because there's nothing good for the good bacteria to feed off of when you have no prebiotic fibers in there. So, okay, so the good news is our vehicle is not a car. Our vehicle is an amazing human body that has the power to heal itself. Isn't that incredible? You get a cut and what happens? Your body heals itself. It's amazing. When you give the body what it needs, it can heal. It's so cool. Okay, so you can turn back the clock through your lifestyle choices. There's so much research that shows people's biological age decreasing from 2 to 7 years for multiple things I'm aware of that they're doing to help improve their health with nutrition or with sleep or different things. And there's a lot of natural supplement things that you can use that also research shows do a ton to turn back the clock in aging. So this is Dr. David Hill. He is another doctor. I use and work with a lot of doTERRA products because I love the price point and I love the quality. I also obviously recommend other things. They don't have everything that you need for healing your body, but I love what they do have. And I would say Harvard Medical Blog, they had a study where the top 3 leading memory supplements were tested. 2 of them did not even have the active ingredient that was on the bottle in the bottle. Okay, it's a huge, huge problem. So you have to be very careful. I would never buy supplements on Amazon. Buy it directly from the company. There are brands that now, there's a lot of brands that are great. I like to use doTERRA the most because of the quality and the extra absorption you get from essential oils. So this is his, he works with doTERRA as well, but this is kind of his paradigm shift that he teaches, and it lines up exactly with Dr. Means, what she said. If we kind of look at those, if we just flip those, right, put one at the bottom, we'd be like almost the same. So, okay, so here's how we can heal the metabolic cycle. If you give your body good fuel, right, if you do the things, the 10 things she talked about to help heal that metabolic cycle, you're getting good energy now being able to produce by your cells, okay? And then that's gonna be healthy levels of inflammation. You're not gonna have unhealthy levels of inflammation, less pain. You're gonna start to give your body antioxidants. There's a lot of things you can do to support your body and helping heal those cells. That will reverse aging. And this cycle just continues to get better and better as you keep doing the right things, right? So I'm gonna talk about a few products that are simple, that I have loved. The good news is it's like 2 minutes a day. And there's a lot of other things out there. I'll tell you why I like to recommend it over other things, price point wise, quality and absorption wise, because it's not what you eat and it's not what supplements you put in your body, it's what you absorb that matters. And unfortunately, most of the things out there, even in the supplement world, you absorb very little of, and so you're just wasting your money. It's true, there's lots of research to back that up. So this is BMG, is our vitamins, minerals, greens. It's a comprehensive all-in-one. You're getting all your vitamins, all your minerals, greens. We have an omega that is the best that I have seen, and then PB Restore is a comprehensive probiotic that I'll tell you just a little bit about. Before we go into this, I actually do want to say, I mentioned this before, that no amount of good nutrition, if you have gut issues, if you have, and you might not even notice, you might think, I don't have gut issues, I just struggle with anxiety. You probably have SIBO. Oh, I just have some skin rashes. You probably have a fungal overgrowth. And so we are doing Cytoscan tests out there today. We can do 2 people at a time. It takes 10 minutes. So sign up for a spot, because if you can get a scan, it will actually give us an idea of what is going on in your body. It's a galvanized skin response. It's the same technologies like a lie detector or like even your Apple Watch that tells you a lot of the statistics about your body. It just taps into more and measures more things in your body. It's FDA approved. I would highly recommend you do a scan. It's free. We don't charge for that. A lot of people do charge. But that will help you to have an idea of what's going on. I've had a lot of people that I've known, they had their scan and they went and got their blood work done, and it said exactly what their scan told them. It's 90% they say is about lined up with blood work. So I've had a lot of people I know diagnose gut issues from taking the scan. So it's really helpful so you can know what's going on, so you can know what's the step your body needs. All nutritional lifestyle things, they're gonna help, right? But if you have other things going on in your body, it's not gonna fix it. And so you've got to find out what is the root cause and how can we heal that, right? Okay, so you can see, we can either look at how can we make the cheapest price point, or can we do something totally different that actually addresses the problem? Because how many people do you know that take supplements and they're in horrible health, right? Like, it doesn't address the problem, because in fact, there's multiple large comprehensive studies that actually show that a lot of supplements cause more harm than good, because they're loaded with synthetic things, and that's causing lots of issues in the body. Same thing with omegas. There's many studies showing people who take omegas, it actually is doing harm, because their omegas are rancid, and the oxidation that comes from that, like if you're burping up and getting a fishy taste, or if you're getting heavy metals and toxins that you get from fish in the ocean. So you've got to make sure that what you are taking, one, it even has what it says it has, that can be absorbed. Is there clinical research to back up that product? That's a good question to ask when you're looking at taking something. So if you're going to spend money, we don't want you to be dumping it, flushing it down the drain, basically, right? Is what would happen. Is there clinical research? What's the absorption like? And then is it screened and tested for heavy metals? And is it synthetic ingredients versus like vegan, natural, raw, whole food ingredients? I am just gonna, so the fuel that we use matters, right? It's what our body can utilize to repair itself. Over 60% of our intake in America is from processed foods, you guys. Does that surprise you too? Or you're like, yeah, really sad, huh? Compared to 27% in Europe. And people say like, okay, what is it? A lot of them it's the cost. But you guys, whatever you prioritize and value, you will find a way. Go donate plasma if you need to, once a month or twice a month, so you can give your body the fuel it needs. They did a New York Times article and found that an orange now was 7 times or 700% less nutritious than an orange in 1950. Anybody know why that is? Any guesses? Soil practices and the chemical sprays. What's happening is all the chemicals that we spray are depleting and killing, right, all the good things in the soil. They're not doing the rotation of crops like they used to. And so it's our soil quality is very poor, and that in turn gives poor nutrient quality in our foods. So because 98% of Americans are deficient, I used to have, before I studied functional nutrition and got all the training that I have, I used to just say, just eat healthy. But I now know that is actually, it's very, very rare that you will actually be able to have that solve the problem because of our food quality, unfortunately, in America. So anyway, people lack time, right? Emotional factors. A lot of people just are overwhelmed and don't know where to start, right? They need more information. So the VMG, what I like is it's very comprehensive. There's 90 different whole food ingredients. We have clinical research showing the absorption. I'll show that a little bit about that. It's super easy. It just takes a couple minutes, and it tastes very good. You can go and sample it out there today. We have some. The biggest difference is the bioavailability and the bioretention. We talked about, I don't know if you've heard this, but somebody who's a doctor or somebody who works at a sewage plant, they will tell you they see so many intact tablets and drugs and supplements, right? If they're compressed, your body's probably not even breaking that down. So the clinical trial from this shows that it is 400 to 600% or 4 to 6 times more bioavailable than your average supplement. How many of you have heard of AG1? Okay, it's all synthetic. I would not recommend that. But it's a good comparable to the VMG because it's a similar kind of product with like all vitamins, minerals, greens, but it's synthetic, right? So we compared ours, what's the calcium absorption in ours to the one in theirs. Theirs was about 90% if you peg ours at 100% absorption. So again, you're paying all that money, but your body's absorbing and taking in very little. The other thing is the bioretention. The clinical trial showed after 8 hours, 91% of those nutrients were still in your body. Typically with a supplement, we see a couple hours max in the body. So that's huge. So again, you're giving your body things that it can actually use to heal and make a difference. Liposomal technology, the essential oils in it, that's one of the reasons why I chose doTERRA, because they do have, there's lots of hospitals, medical places that will only use that brand because of all the testing. But the liposomal technology also, the oils highly increase the absorption. And methylated B vitamins, half of you have what's called the MTHFR gene, and that means your body cannot properly absorb B vitamins. You have to have them methylated to absorb them. This has methylated B vitamins in it, and that's really important. Here's just kind of a comparison of other, greens, vitamin products, and it's nice you're not taking all the pills. If you get this in a package, it's about $10 cheaper if you're getting a few different things at once. So really good price point, but I would say the absorption is the key thing, and it being all whole food. And then you can see this is just average price point of some of the supplements that are in this, and that's not even, it's like half of them. Like it would fill up the whole page, but you can see the price difference is huge. I all the time, if someone's working with a functional doctor, they're saving a ton of money. This is the last thing I want to talk about, then we'll wrap it up. Do we know what time we have till?
27 after each.
Okay, perfect. We are right on schedule. Good job. All right. So you can see heart disease, 702,000 Americans every year die from heart disease. Compared to cancer, accidents, And they estimate 80% of those deaths are completely preventable. Guys, is that sobering? Like, we have got to do something to change this. Like, how many of you have had someone in your family or a friend who's lost them to heart disease? Right? I know so many people, and it's so sad. But we can do something to change this, and it's actually not that hard. If you change your diet and lifestyle, yes, that's going to be the most effective thing. But even just supplementing with omegas, it causes your blood to be less sticky, and so it doesn't clog up the arteries. They did a study with pigs. They fed them all donuts. Of course, they all developed heart disease. Then the other group, they fed the pigs donuts infused with fish oil. No arterial blockage. Okay, there's lots of things that show how much of a difference taking omegas makes. Okay, if there's one thing that you did start to do in your life, 90% of the Americans are deficient in omega-3s. I want to talk about why I do love the doTERRA one over any other one I've seen. The biggest reason is it has wild orange essential oil in it, and so that highly increases the absorption. It also prevents rancidity, and that's a huge, huge problem in the industry of omegas, okay? You don't want to be taking a rancid fish oil. So that prevents that. You get better absorption. It's tested for heavy metals. That's huge. Again, remember I mentioned the studies. They're showing they're actually causing harm because if you're getting those heavy metals, that's not good for your body. No fish burps. You can chew it. Okay, go over to the table. I forgot to bring one in here. I was going to have somebody try one. It actually tastes so good. You can bite into it. It tastes like wild orange. Not kidding. So go try one out there. And you don't burp it up. But the cool thing is, so it doesn't just support your heart health. Did you guys know omegas are crucial for your brain health, your mental health, your skin, your digestion is super, super crucial for your gut lining, your hormones, your joints, okay? So omegas are really, really key. Yes, vitamins, perfect. And the clinical trial they did with this, 100% of participants saw significant improvements in their omega-3 levels. That means we're seeing amazing absorption, right? Decreased resting heart rate. That they had, on the average, each person had 6,000 less beats per day in their heart that happened on this. That's way less wear and tear on your heart, okay? And then diastolic blood pressure increased significantly as well. And if you take regular omegas, you don't get that benefit. They found it was just combined with the essential oil of the wild orange that created that benefit of lowering the diastolic blood pressure. Price point, again, if you get this in a package, it's around $36.50 a bottle, which is super competitive. And you're getting money back on that, so it ends up being around $30 when you start factoring all the ways you can save in. But you can see here the price point. The biggest thing that I would add here is the testing for heavy metals. Most of these brands are not, and that's a key thing to look for in omegas. But the amount of omegas is the biggest thing you're looking for. Most products, you're not getting a huge amount, depending on the price point and the source and all that. And the full fatty acid also increases absorption. Just like if you separate things out and just take a part of something, typically the body absorbs it much better when you take the whole, right? Nature knew what it was doing when they made it like that. So you can look at the cost. You're looking at, again, it's actually around $30 if you're factoring, if you're doing it monthly and getting it in a package, or $139 on fish. And again, you risk the toxic exposure. I would recommend if you're gonna eat fish, the research shows eat the small fish, eat the sardines, eat the anchovies, eat the small ones. Unfortunately, it's very hard with even the wild caught salmons and the wild caught tunas. It's very hard to get it without, because they don't screen test for the heavy metals, unfortunately. It's very, very sad. But you can see a huge savings there. And then lastly, your gut health. And we have 3 more minutes, right? 3 or 4 minutes. So you can see here, people that have mental health issues, the research shows they have much more bad bacteria. Your gut is one of the biggest reasons why we see mental health issues. Probiotics are really helpful. I told you about that yogurt that I can get you a start of, and it's life-changing. But this is another really great, easy, if you're like, it takes about 5 minutes to make the yogurt, you need an Instapot, and you ferment for 36 hours. So if that feels overwhelming, this is your next best thing. I do both, because this has a lot of different strains that I don't get in my yogurt, but 29 different strains. The big thing is the time-release capsule. Most probiotics don't survive your stomach acid, so that's a really important thing to find. And it actually has some unique things you don't get in normal probiotics. The one I'll point out is the postbiotics and the phages. The phages act like a gardener and help pull out the bad overgrowths. They're really powerful, and it's awesome to take that in your probiotic. You can see the comparison. Again, the price point is closer to $30 when you factor in if you get it in a package and if you get it with the the discount back that you can get. So you can see here if you were getting phages, prebiotics, postbiotics separately, it costs a ton more. This is the package I was telling you about, $149.50, and if you do that monthly, I'll show you. Basically, we're fixing the cycle, right? It's addressing all of those issues. Again, lifestyle is huge. This is a 2-minute solution. It is very affordable. I count it as part of my food budget because I know I'm not getting it from my food and I eat super clean. I had nutrient deficiencies even when I was eating super healthy, so now I don't. You will make time for your health or you'll be forced to make time for your sickness. That's reality. What would you rather invest in? So, doTERRA also has a great program where if you do choose to get things monthly, you end up getting $250 back in doTERRA cash to use on products your first year, $450 your second year, plus $250 of free oils that are really gonna help you in all the troubleshooting and the check engine lights that come on. So, but I hope you guys learned a lot. I hope you learned some things. I encourage you to just take 1 or 2 things. Start with the seed oils. It's a great starting point. Or start with adding more olive oil into your diet. It's one of the best things for your stomach lining. And it has so many anti-inflammatory benefits. Like there's so many benefits from that. So just find something simple, but go get a Zytoscan so that you can find out what's going on in your body. If you would like to have me come and teach and bring my SIBO tester, which I have, and the yogurt, let me know. I would love to come and do that. And thank you guys for being here. So have a good day.
If everyone can find the learning experience for nutrition and have it like with your thumb, that would be very helpful.
This is first right here.
Yes, thank
Okay.
you.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Use that as a